Hey super foodies, and welcome back to Cooking with Angeli. Today I'm making a really healthy, tasty drink recipe which is not for everybody, but I personally love it. Let's just get started. So as a pharmacist, I've done plenty of diabetes reviews, and the one thing that comes up time and time again is that juices are not always the healthiest thing because they contain a lot of sugar. The reason for this is because when you take a fruit like an apple and you blend it, you're actually opening up the cells from the inside of the fruit and releasing all of the sugar into the drink. So if you take an apple and you juice a whole bunch of apples and mix it with other fruits that are also high in sugar, like grapes can be really high in sugar as well, you're potentially drinking something that is gonna give you a sugar rush. And for some people, if you're diabetic, it's not the ideal thing because it will cause a spike in sugar, especially if you drink these things quite regularly throughout the day or throughout the week. So one way that I like to kind of reduce the sugar and make this a little bit healthier whilst keeping the taste intact is by mixing it with vegetables. By doing this, you also get the nutrients and you get all the different vitamins and minerals from a whole host of vegetables. And sometimes what I also like to do is add nuts like almonds and cashews and pistachios into the mix because you get the fiber, you get the protein, and you get the nutrients from those as well. Today am going to just start by adding this, as I normally would, into the cup. So what I do, I'll take my apple and I'll cut it up. And I don't normally use a chopping board. I cut it up the desi way, like my mum or my ba or my gaki would. But please don't do this at home if you don't know how to do it. You have to be really careful. Use a chopping board if you feel most comfortable doing it that way. I'm trying to get as much of the fruit as I can. We want minimal wastage. Things are going well because Orm is not talking right now, so good sign. I'm hoping he lets me film throughout. Fingers crossed. Okay, that's my apple done. Next, I'm gonna add a kiwi. So I'm gonna peel my kiwi over in the sink. Okay, I have my kiwi, tad soft, cut it in half and pop it in. Wash my hands. Next, I'm gonna add the cucumber. So cucumber has vitamins and minerals, but a big chunk of it is mostly water, which is why I like to add it. It can bulk up the juice and it has fewer calories and less sugar and that kind of thing. So I've washed it. We're just gonna chop it up. You can actually add more or less, it's completely your choice. Same again, celery contains vitamins and minerals, but a big proportion of it is water. So I like to add it in to bulk up the juice. I'm gonna go wash this. I'm not going to peel this, I'm just gonna add it all in because it will get blitzed in the machine. Okay, next I'm gonna add a couple of grapes. So I'm just gonna take a handful. I don't normally count how many I use. I just wash them and chuck them in. You want a grape? You want a grape? You say something, I'll give you a grape. I'll give him one anyway. Okay, I'm just gonna wash these and then put them into the juice. Ooh, and away grape. Okay, next we're gonna add some spinach. This is, I think, baby spinach that's been washed and is ready to use. Yeah, it might not be baby spinach, but it's been washed and ready to use. And what I often do is just freeze this. I use as much as I can. It looks like it's at a point where it's ready to be frozen, so I'll just freeze it so I can use it in my juices. I'm also going to add some kale And this kale was frozen. It's just been out for a couple of minutes. Just gonna add that in. What I'm gonna do next is add enough water to fill the max line. If you guys have seen my avocado milkshake recipe, you'll know that this NutriBlend doesn't have a max line. So I'm gonna add 2/3 water in, just over 2/3 water in there. There, that looks about right. And I always add, that looks about right. And I always add the fruit and veg first because you don't want a whole kind of cup full of water, because when you add all the fruit and veg, it will just come out. Another tip, a lot of the time will go shopping, buy all my fruit and veg, come back, chop it all up in one day and freeze it. And I kind of make this juice as a slushy, and then it takes a little while to drink. By the time I finish this, it's turned into a juice. But yeah, that's another thing I like to do so that your veg and fruit stays fresh when you want to make the juice. We're just gonna put the lid on top. Move this over here so you guys can see. And we're just gonna blitz it. Ready in minutes. I am going to add my special ingredient, which I always forget to put in, and that is lemon juice. I haven't got fresh lemons at the moment. I lie. I have fresh lemons at the moment, but they've all been frozen and they have the skin on. The wedges have the skin on and they're in the freezer. So I'm gonna add some bottled lemon juice. The reason that I add this in is because it kind of brings out a tang, and it brings out the citrus from all the citrus fruits like the apple and the kiwi. A little bit tight. So I'm gonna add some lemon juice. You can add as much as you like. Tiny amount will do. I add a tiny bit more than a tiny amount. And I'm gonna use my ice cream sundae spoon to stir all this together. What I will often do is if I make a big amount like this, I will keep the spoon in and then just stir it from time to time, because the pulp and the vegetable matter will start to separate from the liquid water. So you might need to stir it every so often. And there we have it, it's ready to go. I'm just gonna taste it. This is not ideal. Let's put it in a glass. There. And there we have it. Green juice is ready to go. Should we give it a taste? Let's dance around with it for a little while. I always have to do that. Cheers, everyone. It's good. It tastes like it always does. I've been drinking this for almost 7 years, and it's one of my favorite things to drink in the morning, to drink before bed. I like to drink it as a snack when I'm hungry, but I'm trying to reduce my binge eating, so I'll use it as a replacement for things like crisps or chocolate or biscuits. One of my guilty pleasures is actually cookies and milk or shortbread or biscuits and milk. So rather than having that, I'll make this and I'll drink it instead. You can also add things like mango, orange, anything that you've got lying around. You could add green peppers to it if you wanted to, anything like that that's lying around. To be fair, one thing that I've just forgotten to mention is because you're adding the fruit, and I've picked quite citrus fruits. Apple is quite sweet and sour, and I've used Granny Smith apples, which tend to be a little bit more sour. Grapes can be sour, the green grapes, and kiwi can be quite sweet and sour as well. So the sourness, tanginess, and sweetness of the fruit balances out the veg, so you actually can't taste the vegetables in this. The only issue that it's ever been for somebody is the texture. A lot of people don't like the texture. If you don't like the texture, you could try drinking it with a straw instead, but I really think that it's something that you just get used to over time. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, Share with your family and friends, subscribe and press the bell icon so that you don't miss my videos going forward. Please like the video if you enjoy it, because it really does help us and it really motivates me to make more videos for you guys. And leave me a comment about what you think. It's always good to hear feedback, and I love hearing your feedback. I love hearing that you guys have tried and enjoyed my recipes. So yeah, keep in touch and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys. One thing I forgot to mention is that if you guys are gonna make this, I highly advise making it and drinking it straight away. If you leave it to set, then it will separate. You'll get the water and the fruit contents separate. It won't look the most appetizing. The taste will be okay, but it always just tastes better fresh. But if you are gonna make it ahead of time, or you're going somewhere, like you're gonna make it and take it to work, these lids are quite useful. My mom and dad sometimes make the juices, keep them in these containers, put a lid on top, and they'll take it to work. Yes, it will separate, but they'll just shake it and drink it afterwards. Another tip is you can also add ice to this if you want it to be cooler, and you can make it and keep it in the fridge and drink it after a few minutes if you prefer to do it that way. But yeah, those are just a couple of tips. It's completely up to you guys what you enjoy. Let me know what you guys think.